Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of HBHA Lore, where each episode I, your host, Micah Margolies, speak with a person connected with HBHA's past or present. Today, I am delighted to be joined by somebody who I've known for many, many years, his entire family, really. And he's a great guy and a great guest, an illustrious alum, graduate of the class of 2015, Joel Gutovitz. Welcome to HBHA Lore.
Thank you so much, Mr. Margolies, Micah, for having me. It's an honor. It's a pleasure to be on your legendary podcast and
Wow.
always a treat to get to talk to you.
Wow, what an intro. Well, we've got a lot of stuff to cover, Joel, because I've known you for a long time, and I know some of your good stories. I know you've got a lot more. So let's dive on in. As we said, you graduated 11 years ago now, right? We blew right past the 10-year reunion, and now we're chugging towards 20 in 2015. And I know you've done a lot of stuff in between when you graduated and what you're up to today. So let's start with shortly after you graduated. You graduated in 2015. Where did you go after you left HBHA?
I went to the University of Kansas, not too far down the road.
Fantastic.
So went to Lawrence and I was at KU for 4 years. I studied human biology there. I studied rec league basketball as something I probably spent more time on than my classes
Did they
because
give you a degree in that? They should have by the end.
no degree, but we had a pretty good run. We had a pretty good intramural run.
Did you correct me if I'm wrong, Joel? Wasn't there a time where there was like a 3-on-3 tournament or like a national tournament? Was that a Jewish basketball tournament? Was that something they participated in? Was it Jewish or just open up to everyone? Um,
Great.
yeah, which was it? Give me the details there with that.
So it's both. We're mixing that's the blend of the two
Okay.
basketball experiences. One was, I think you're talking about the National Hillel basketball tournament.
Okay.
It was a lot of fun. We had a couple really good years. We had a couple moderately good years. The really good year, we went undefeated in like the play before you get ranked, and then you go into tournament play. And there's like
Were
40
these were these
teams.
3-on-3 games or were they 5-on-5 full games?
That was, I believe it was 5-on-5.
Okay. Okay.
And we took some solid teams, and there's some guys that are playing like U Chicago had some guys from their team. Johns Hopkins had some guys from their college team. There were some really good players there, but we went undefeated in pool play. Then we got
Okay.
into single elimination play. And I think in our first game of tournament play, I sprained my ankle and I was out. Our big guy broke his nose and he was pretty much out. So we had like two or three pretty big injuries.
So you guys were the Kansas Hobblers, is what you were.
We were the hobblers. I was benched after that one. Couldn't get back out
Oh.
there.
So how did
And
you guys do? Did you end up playing did you end up playing or did you have to miss that whole tournament?
I missed the rest of the way after the injury. Big guy tried to play, but you don't want to get hit in the nose again after a broken
Um,
schnoz. Um,
did you say I was blending too? Was there a different tournament also that you were a part of? They really should have given
so
you a degree.
So the other tournament was just every intramural tournament that KU had. So there was like the homecoming tournament. There was a tournament that I don't remember what it was raising money for. It was some sort of charity tournament where the championship was at late night at the Fog. It's like KU's pep rally,
Okay.
sort of like the HBHA pep rally that we have,
Yeah,
but just
slightly larger, but the same in spirit.
a little bit larger, but I would say maybe smaller in spirit because the HBHA spirit is
I like that. I like
yeah,
that.
go
Good.
around.
Okay, continue.
So we were in all of these tournaments, and we actually ended up going undefeated in all three-on-three tournaments for the year, which cumulatively I think was like 22, 23 and 0. And one of those championships was at late night at the Fog in front of 16,000 people at Allen Fieldhouse. We won on a buzzer beater three, just about buzzer beater near the end. We were down by like 7 or 8. So here's the first pearl.
Were you the buzzer beater? Did you hit the three?
I hit the steal, so we were down three. Other team was gonna run clock. Uh,
Okay.
Stole the ball, passed it to the guy that should have been taking the shot. Name's Connor Hurst, and he's an awesome guy. Shout out Connor.
Okay.
Loved playing with you. And Jake Novikov was the other guy on the team.
Okay.
Amazing guys, amazing basketball players, and it was a lot of fun playing with them. And he hit the shot. We ended up winning. And so believe in yourself, kids. Even if you're down 7, 8, 9, whatever it is.
You know
I'll
what?
wait.
I wonder if you're the only. This would be a good trivia question. I wonder if you're the only HBHA alum to hit a competitive shot in Allen Fieldhouse. I'm sure someone has somehow ended up on the court and taken a shot, but a shot in a competitive basketball game in Allen Fieldhouse, you might be the only one.
So I wonder if I also played at late night in another capacity as a women's practice squad player. I was on the KU women's practice team.
Like the
Um,
actual KU women's team, they were scrimmaging against you.
exactly. Yep. I went to
Okay,
their
that's awesome.
practices. I played with them, got to know the team, and we would like simulate players on the upcoming team that they would play against.
Yeah,
So if they
yeah.
had a player that liked to drive, we'd try to drive. If they had a player that liked to shoot from the corner, we'd try to shoot from the corner and learn their plays and everything. So we also played against the women's team at late night at the Fog. Another year. That was not, they weren't the same year when I was doing that, but yeah, that's a good question. I wonder if someone else was maybe on the practice team or something like
Wow,
that.
that's you know what? I knew we'd be talking some basketball because the Gutovitz family is a long lineage of HBHA ballers. I didn't know we'd dive in so quickly. We'll table the basketball for now because I know we're coming back to it. We'll have plenty of basketball stories to share. So as you said, you studied biology, human biology. Um, After you graduated from KU, I think, correct me if I'm wrong. I know that shortly after that, you made your way to Israel for a little while. Was there a gap between when you graduated KU and when you ended up to Israel? Or how did that come about?
Pretty much right away. So during senior year, I was applying to medical school.
Okay.
And one of my best friends, Daniel Jesmer, we lived together in college, and we had like a 2, 3 a.m. conversation after many trips to Israel for yeshiva and just for touring around and for different Jewish group trips. We knew that Israel was an important thing to us and a place where we'd want to spend significant time. So we both kind of talked about going over and doing the army. I ended up applying to medical school over there, ended up at the Technion in Haifa. Before I knew that was the plan, I had signed up to volunteer with Magen David Adom, the ambulance service
Hmm.
in Israel. So I think that was the summer after graduation. I went over and I was volunteering on the ambulance service in Jerusalem. And then after that, I started medical school up in Haifa, which is beach town just north of Tel Aviv, about an hour, hour and a half. And it was awesome.
And so was your entire medical school training in Israel?
Yes, there is an option. It's an American program,
Okay.
Teams Technion American Medical School. And there's an option to spend a good chunk of the last year in America for those who are planning on coming back. I was kind of on the fence, stay in Israel or come back and be close to family for a little while. Ended up staying, doing an intern year over there, working on some research, working in like a surgical robotics company over there. And then ended up coming back here for residency, which is what I'm doing now.
Okay. It would be interesting. You did your whole training in Israel to compare notes of someone who did, their medical school in America, see which one was kind of the more intense one. I know Israel is, when it comes to like STEM subjects, they are really the top of the heap. So you probably had a pretty intense go there. Um, what were some of kind of your most memorable? It could be connected to your medical school training. It could have been your Magen David Adom work or just other stuff. You were there. So how many years were you in Israel? 4?
I want to say close to 6. So
Close
I
to
was there
6.
for Magenda Vida Dome, and then I did my intern year also before coming back for residency. So between 5 and 6.
So what were some of maybe your most memorable experiences connected to medical stuff or non-medical stuff during your pretty extensive tenure there in Israel? Yeah, that's an open-ended question. There's
Yeah.
so many to sift through. Where do you begin?
Yeah, so many good memories are pouring through my mind.
Let's start with the Magen David Adom stuff. When you were working there, what was the work that you were working with them? What did it entail?
So it entailed first like a 10-day to 2-week training course where you learn how to put on a bandage and check a blood pressure and just all the basics, learning all of the terminology in Hebrew, yad, hand, rosh, and then also other things like the stretcher and like oxygen tank, things like that. So just learning all the vocab is the beginning, and it was a really cool program. It was like the people who come from out of Israel to volunteer, there's a program. So that's what I was in. There were people from Australia, South Africa, Arkansas, a guy named
the big
Micah.
the big three of exotic locales: South
Well,
South Africa,
my main
Australia, and
go-to
Arkansas.
my main homie there, a guy named Jacob, we had a wedding in Israel, my wife and I. We also had like a wedding celebration here locally. And this guy came in to join for that. His name's Yaakov Wilson. Also just a stellar guy, super hilarious and funny and fun and just an awesome guy. So that's why he jumps out between the South Africa and the Australia
Sure.
and Arkansas.
Yeah.
But some of the memorable moments, I would say the most memorable moment which really touches on the Achdut of Israel, the brotherhood, the unity that you feel when you're over there, just that everyone's together. Here you could be shopping at Trader Joe's and everyone's nice and polite, but you look at the guy next to you and it's just another guy living their day to day. You're in Israel and you got Moishi, Grandpa Moishi next to you, picking out his rugelach off the shelf. And you never know. He might invite you over for Shabbat. It's a feeling of togetherness. Everyone's going through the same things. Everyone kind of has similar priorities and values, where that Achdut is really special. So one moment of that after one of our shifts, I was on a shift with a girl from England and a girl from Israel. And we were wrapping up the shift and we were talking with some of our friends. We were going to go get some food after the shift, pick up like a bagel or something, a nice Israeli bagel. Should have done like shawarma or falafel. That should always be the plan in Israel. Um, but we were going to go get something, and we invited Adi, the Israeli girl, to join us. But she said instead, I'm going to my grandparents' house. They live about an hour bus ride from here. And this is someone we just met,
Sure.
didn't know her at all before this. And we're saying, do you want to come get with us? And she's saying, why don't you come with me to my grandparents who live an hour bus ride away from here? She could be abducting us. She could be trying to sell our fingers for scientific research. We don't know what this lady's up to. But all she's up to is kindness and unity, caring about a fellow person. And we ended up going. And this same family, I bumped into her a couple weeks later, and she invited me and actually Jacob. We went over for a Shabbat, and then they invited me again, and they invited me again. I ended up staying with her close friend, the Bornsteins, who are their neighbors. They live in Neve Daniel, and these families just like took me in and hosted me. And then I have another host family in Israel, the Schneer family, who many HBHAers have also been adopted by. It's like their Israeli adopted family. This family has been mamash like my second family, like my adopted mom. I talked to her today, talked to some of the brothers this week of that family. So that's another really special thing. But Magen David Adom special moment was this moment of Achdut where we went and just became family with this other family that had no connection to me before other than sharing the same homeland, sharing the same heritage, and just the special unity of Am Yisrael is something I really felt in that moment. And
That's an
many of the
awesome story.
moments.
That's a
Yeah,
great story. And I just know that grandma was an incredible cook. I know the dinner was just amazing.
it was good. Yeah. I don't remember exactly what we had, but it was good. You're
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
It was
Um,
immediate. She didn't even give them a heads up that we were coming. We got there and she just whips open the
she
fridge
just
and
had enough food. She was ready for three extra guests, four extra, however many it was. She was ready for you guys.
always, always.
Um, that's a great story. You kind of touched a little bit on what I was going to ask you as someone, who spent an extensive amount of time in Israel, as opposed to someone who maybe just did even just like a 1 year gap year, did a birthright trip, right? You had time to really, obviously, you were very busy with your studies and with your ambulance work, but you probably also got to explore the country pretty well. Any maybe like, I don't know if I would call them hidden gems or unexpected spots, aside from maybe the spots people are largely familiar with in Israel, we were like, I went to this place and it was incredible. It could have been a restaurant. It could have been just a random geographic feature, but anything that really sticks out is like an amazing thing that if you're ever like someone's like, I'm going to Israel and you're saying to them, you got it, you should check out this spot. If you've got an extra week there and you got the time, you should go here or do this experience.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll start with the most spiritually meaningful place, I think, to a
Sure,
lot of us, which is
absolutely.
the Western Wall, the Kotel.
I've heard of it. I'm well familiar.
Have you been?
I have 3 times.
Oh, amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I hope you'll get to go for a fourth, and I hope everyone else who hasn't been gets to go.
Yeah.
My favorite Kotel experience is going late at night, 2, 3, 4 in the morning,
Oh wow.
when there are people there, but you mostly have the Kotel to yourself on those hours, unless it's like a holiday or Shavuot, there's people all night. I think Tisha B'Av, there's people there all night, mourning the destruction of the temple and praying for it to be rebuilt. So there's some of those auspicious evenings where it's into the wee hours of the night, very busy.
Vicious. Joel getting the audience to dig for the thesaurus. I love it.
Thesaurus. I
Yeah.
should get one of those out, learn some more.
It's
I've
more you just look it up online, but it's the thesaurus of their mind.
thesaurus.com.
Yeah.
I used to use a random word generator for like my rap skills. We would
Oh,
pull up, like I think Harry Mack is the guy that does like rap videos on YouTube.
okay.
Um, and we would do that a lot in college.
Auspicious is a good one.
Pull
Yeah.
up random words.
Sure.
Yeah. And then make a little song about it. But
You were talking about little known spots in Israel, like the Kotel,
little known spots like
arguably the best known feature in perhaps the world. But continue.
I'd say number one, get out to the Kotel, have a little
Yeah.
spiritual moment out there, and just enjoy that. Now, the town where I lived in Haifa is like a small beach town. It's called Bat Galim. In my eyes, it's paradise because it's the best combination of being from Overland Park. You like your quietness, you like not being in a big city, you like having some space. But on the other hand, it's a nice little change to have a beach. So we had all these corona laws. You can only go like 400 meters from your home or something like that. Metric system. They use that in the Middle East. And so
Our audience will reach for the thesaurus to translate from the metric system to our standard measuring system.
it's like a few inches or so, a little bit more than a few.
A bit more.
Around 30, what, 34 to 36-ish? It's
What
like,
for
it's
a
like a
meter?
yard. It's similar to a
Yeah,
yard.
a meter's a little more than a yard. Yeah, you got it.
Okay, cool. Thank you, HBHA math.
Yeah, and
Department.
science.
And science. So the beach in Haifa, it's that nice, like relatively quiet, unless they're having their surfing competitions, then people come from all over the place. There's a dog beach out there. Um, so it's not one of the features that you'll hear about Googling like top 10 places to visit in Israel. But if you go to Haifa, there's some really pretty stuff out there. It's kind of hilly. And then my favorite area is like the Judea, Samaria, just the hills. You have the rolling hills, you have spacious, you have beautiful view, amazing sunsets there. I'm a nature guy, so my favorite things about Israel are just even if you get on the train and you're going between Tel Aviv to Jerusalem, Tel Aviv to Haifa, you're gonna pass the in-between areas that are just beautiful, the hills and the sea. So I definitely recommend all of that. In terms of food, you said there's three falafel places that pop out. There's Falafel Achi, that's right by Rambam Hospital. There's Moses Falafel, about a 2-minute walk from there. And then there's Falafel Tzemach, which is about a 2.5 hour train ride. You got to go from Haifa to Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. And another crazy story about that, if I may, after this one, the train
Joel,
ride.
that's why we're here. You had me at crazy story. You may.
It's a cool one.
Great. Please do.
So so that's Falafel Tzemach. He was my falafel guy when I was in Jerusalem for yeshiva. But he surprisingly closed down. I tried to text him to see what's up.
I would
Uh,
love to have a falafel guy. That's my goal in life, just to have a falafel guy.
you know what, Micah? Come on over sometime. I
Uh,
will be your falafel guy.
Amazing. There'll be a falafel tzemach on this side of the ocean.
Sounds
Incredible.
it would be falafel noam because my wife would definitely make it. If I made falafel, you would need like a jug of water for sure, and you would
That's
need
fine.
probably a mint afterward to wash
I'll
down the
take
falafel.
falafel noam. That sounds great.
But that would,
Okay, so what's this crazy story you got connected to this?
yeah, the
Or
crazy story
maybe it's go on.
connected to this. Well, I had a late night in Jerusalem, probably a late, no, it wasn't Kotel because I was leaving maybe 11 or 12, and I had spaced it all out, done the timing planning in the app Move It, which maps out your transit and the public transportation system in Israel. It tells you you have this bus, you have that train, and when and where.
That's
I'm sure,
nice.
I'm sure it's become even more advanced since I was there, and it's pretty accurate. It tells you your bus is going to be here in 7 minutes. Um, so I mapped it out. I should have had time to get from Jerusalem to Tel Aviv. I guess there was a slight delay. I got there, dramatic moment. I'm sprinting to the next train. I see it take off before my eyes. No, how am I going to get home? And now we're talking like 1, maybe 2 in the morning. No plans. I'm a medical student at this point. I know I want to be an ophthalmologist. I'm interested in eyeballs, and I've been on a few night shifts in the ophthalmology department. So I know that there's a nearby hospital about a 10-minute walk from there. And I said, "Hey, I could just go join the resident over there, pop into the department and see if I can help out for the rest of the night." So I walk to the hospital. I go to the ophthalmology department. I'm in the waiting area, waiting on the resident to let me in, and to see what the heck I'm there to bother her about. And there's other people there in the waiting area, and we're schmoozing, and it's another amazing Savtale grandmother lady, and she's there with her daughter, and it turns out her daughter is the owner or a part owner in the company Diamonds Direct. Have you heard of them?
Have now.
They sell diamonds and
Direct.
they do it directly, yes. So there's one here, and actually my brother, it was a big deal when he got his diamond for his wife Allie, her ring, because he bought it from an Israeli. They have Israeli people working there, and they were so excited about that. And he said, "I get it. I have to go to these Israeli people to get a ring for my wife to be." And she said, "Yeah, I'm one of the owners. My husband is one of the owners of Diamonds Direct. Call us whenever you want to buy a ring. Let us know." We ended up getting our ring from them there. And it's just a small world moment where I missed my train. I go there. She helps me get a better deal on my ring for my wife down the road. I did end up joining the resident for part of that evening until the first train out in the morning.
I didn't even
And
know that was a possibility. You were doing improvisatory medical practice just on the fly.
so that's another thing about Israel. I love that there's in America, there's a lot of rules. Everything
I was
kind
gonna
of
say, did you have to
book.
show some credentials, or did you have to like bring out a nice label, some like an optical diagram to prove that you were legit, as opposed to just a crazy man wandering in and performing eye surgery?
I might have showed her something, but pretty much I just walked in. I said, "I'm a medical student. I missed my train. Can I hang out with you for a few hours, help with whatever I can help out with, and just join you for the rest of the evening?" And yeah,
That
Israelis
is fantastic.
know how
That
to go with the flow. They got resilience. They got lizrom. Lizrom is to flow. Just
there
whatever
you go.
situation
You
comes
were
at you.
flowing. I like this. What I'm gathering from your time in Israel, it was a lot of hard work and study, but also a lot of keeping your heart and mind open to whatever adventures might have struck you at the time, and like you said, flowing with it and going with it, which might have led you to some nice grandmother's house, or might have led you to perform eye surgery on some unsuspecting patient at 2 in the
No
morning
surgery at that
at a
point.
hospital that you didn't work at.
Yeah.
That is
Pretty.
so good. That is great. Well, you alluded to how meaningful the Kotel was to you, right? And even the fact that you decided to do your medical work in Israel. Obviously, your spirituality and your Judaism is very important to you, and I think that's something that just in knowing you has grown and evolved over time, and especially like probably in the time from when you graduated HBHA to these subsequent 11 years. I'm curious if there's if you could just talk a little bit about that, if there were any particularly impactful or meaningful experiences that have really kind of shaped your Jewish journey or your connection to Judaism today.
Yeah. There's a few. I would say it starts at home. It starts with your our own heritage. Like my family on my dad's side, Holocaust survivors from Poland. Judaism was super important to them. My Zadie has a video that I try to watch once a year around Holocaust Remembrance Day, and he talks about faith through everything he went
Is it
through.
like an interview that he did?
Yep, yep.
Gotcha.
It's his
Like
like
documenting his
specific.
story.
Yep, his testimony from surviving the Holocaust. So definitely his connection. My family, I know he wanted to go to yeshiva back in the day and thought about becoming a rabbi, and things kind of got derailed, and he lost his first wife in the Holocaust. He lost their first kid in the Holocaust, then got remarried to my booby, and they had my dad and his two sisters, and just a strong connection to Judaism always left me wanting more and more and more. My family, thank God, we always had Shabbat dinner with the family. Everyone came over, and I guess at that point we all lived here, so nobody had to come over. But some cousins came over, grandma and grandpa would come over, and then David Robino, another shout out to a stellar guy. Has he been on here yet?
No, but he'd be a great guest.
He would. David Robino is actually coming for Shabbos this week, and I cannot wait to have him.
Oh, fantastic. We'd love to
So
hear that.
yeah, always a treat. David and Simona, much love to the Robinos. OG and Jay as well, all the rest of the Mishpacha.
How
But I would spend Shabbats with them in the Eruv growing up, and I loved the idea of no phone and just connecting with the people around you and saying a little bit of L'chaim and having a little Fabringen with the friends. So you got your thesaurus, man.
I'm tracking. You continue.
So there's all of that, and then after that, I would say I had Rabbi Sossover from third grade through graduation. I am the leading Rabbi Sossover time spent HBHA student, along with the rest
Okay.
of the
Is
class.
that a documented statistical fact, or you're just claiming that
Claiming
unsubstantiated?
just claiming that unsubstantiated. I'll ask Rabbi Sossover. I just saw him at Mincha today. I forgot to ask him that
Okay.
specific
Well,
question.
if you're seeing him at Mincha still, I'd say that time's still ticking. It still counts. You're still on the clock.
There we go. I
Yeah.
mean, in the classroom
Yeah.
hours.
In the classroom.
So
In the classroom.
I'll have to run that by Rabbi Sossover and report back to you. But thank God I had a lot of quality time with Rabbi Sossover. I had 1 year in between that stint, so maybe this actually takes an additional hit at my unsubstantiated claim, which
That's
is that
fine. That's still a pretty
I,
strong number.
I had fourth grade with Rebbitzin, Bluma Weinberg. So
Okay.
that was a little break with Rabbi Sossover, but he was definitely a big inspiration. I enjoyed learning the laws of Shabbat and lighting the candles and having the challah and having a day just to kind of spiritually invest in time with family and invest in um, just kind of slowing things down and spending time with yourself, your family, God, and some challah. It's pretty good stuff.
Yeah.
So there's all of that. Then at every step in my life, I had an amazing Chabad rabbi from Rabbi Sossover to Rebbetzin Bluma Weinberg, um, to Zalman Teichtel at KU, huge inspiration on me. Lots of late night together, learning, studying, Fabrengen, just an amazing, generous, kind, inspiring, happy, joyful person. And that's the type of energy that I try to bring into a room and hope to bring into a room when I'm there. Someone that's uplifting and happy and puts a smile on somebody else's face. And those are things that I learned from him. He helped me get to Israel for yeshiva, sent me on a lot of cool and inspiring trips. So that's at KU. That's when things really took off. I started keeping Shabbat. There's one day, the first day I decided to stop wearing, I started wearing a head covering. That would be a hat usually. Then I started wearing a kippah every day. And when the first day I looked at my kippah and I was like, do I really want to do that? You have to be, everyone's going to know I'm Jewish and it's pressure and some people don't like Jewish people. And
Yep.
and then I always have to try to be a good example and try to behave myself. That definitely does not happen. Even though I wear a kippah, I definitely still misbehave on occasion,
Sure.
but I try to limit it. And I put the keep on. I walked out. I get onto my bus for class. And first bus stop is at a bunch of dorms. Freshman girl walks on. And after a few moments, she says, "Hey, you Jewish?" And I said,
So
"Huh,
what tipped you off?
you think? Yeah, I'm Jewish." And she said, "I just got here. I'm a freshman and I'm trying to get involved Jewishly. What do you recommend? Like, where are Shabbat dinners? And I've heard about Chabad. How can I get involved with that?" So I ended up messaging her the details for some Chabad events and helped her get involved. And those are really special moments. It is a scary world nowadays, and I think Jewish people can often feel isolated or scared and these moments that I still have very regularly. There's another resident in another specialty I just met while I was on call. I met him at like midnight the other night, and now he may also come this week for Shabbat. So just wearing that kippah puts it out there like I'm Jewish, and if someone wants to connect over that, then I'm here for it. And you get a lot of interesting comments, but yeah. So I started doing that at KU, started keeping Shabbat. Then I got to Israel, and in Haifa, I had Ishai and Dina Kali, just another hospitable, amazing family, hosted me. I became super close with their like 10 or whatever kids. Um, and then when I
You just
moved
snuck in
to,
there as an 11th undetected.
was that?
You snuck in there as an 11th kid undetected. You're like,
Yeah,
hey,
they have had
I've been
more
here all
kids.
along. Don't worry. I'm your 26-year-old son. Don't mind me.
Right, yeah. No, I mean, I was number 11, 12,
Yeah.
whatever it was, and they just treated me and everybody else that was there, all of the medical students. They were like the Chabad on campus
Uh-huh.
for us, but also for the community. Then at in Ramat Gan, which is where I lived when I was at Sheba for my intern year, there was another family there, and just every step along the way. Now we're close with Mendy and Dvory Weinberg and the Friedmans and Sossover still. Still was Zalman and Nechama Teichtel. So all of these inspirations along the way have um, kind of impacted my life, and
It's a
yeah,
great answer. That's awesome. I mean, it's so many things. Like you said, it's not one thing. It's just a thing that started from like even before you were born with your family and it's continued. But it's been that was really beautifully put. And I like how you, just like you were saying before with your time in Israel, your so openness of what you are with being Jewish and like wearing a kippah and having that be something you're always doing is leading you to experiences and the openness of being like, hey, this person wants, this is a Jewish person and they want to reach out to me. Great. This is maybe a non-Jewish person and they're curious and they're interested in something. Maybe they'll end up at Shabbat dinner. I just that openness is, I think that anyone who knows you knows is a big part of you. And it's just cool hearing that come through in the stories you're telling. Um,
it's a good opportunity to educate. I had some or to connect through barriers. Like I've had some experiences where someone from a country that maybe doesn't necessarily get along so well with Israel or Israeli people or Jewish people. And I was speaking the limited Arabic that I learned in Haifa. And she said, "Where did you learn your Arabic from?" I said, "I learned it in Haifa." She asked the interpreter that was in the room, "What's Haifa?" She said, "It's in Israel." And this patient said, "Are you going to try to rip my eyes out since you're from Israel?" Because that's what she associates. And we were laughing, having a good time. We were connecting until I made that comment.
yeah,
And then quickly I brushed past that and I said, absolutely not. I'm here to take the best care of you that I possibly can. And then we got right back to laughing and having a good time. And I hope those moments bridge gaps. And there was another similar one,
yeah.
really, really funny patients, maybe not such a high educational background. And there was maybe some substance use during the same day also. Um, and they said, "Hey, what's that thing on your head?" And I said, "It's a yarmulke. It's something Jewish people wear on their heads to represent that God is always above us." And they said, "Ah, you're Jewish? I heard Jewish people are the cheapest people in the world." And I said, "I'm not buying that unless it's 50% off."
That's pretty witty response.
There's any time always responding to hate with love when you're able to, when it's not a dangerous situation, of
Yeah,
course. And just trying to show people that you have no we have no ill will. I don't want any bad for anyone. I just want good for people, and Jewish people aren't monsters or you know.
I think that's incredibly well said. Shifting gears slightly, going back to the medical stuff. So you decided to put your focus in, as you said earlier, ophthalmology, which I believe is different than optometry, which you can explain the difference there. But what drew you to that? Because that's obviously a very specialized field, right? Dedicating your life to the very important two things here on our face. So what is it? You can briefly explain the difference between ophthalmology and optometry, but also what is it that drew you to that, and what is some of the work that you do as an ophthalmologist?
So as for the difference, I think technically it's that just the degree that you have. An ophthalmologist is an MD. I think we're more surgery heavy. There's a lot of changes in what optometrists are able to do. There's a lot of legal battles and legislation regarding what's where is that boundary exactly. But basically, ophthalmology, MD went to medical school, optometry went to optometry school. And that's the main difference as
You know
far.
what? I wasn't even that interested in that part in the first place. I'm more interested in you and
Second
your
part.
relationship to the eye. So, what is it that drew you to this field? Because that is, a very specialized part of medicine to focus on.
Yeah, so there's an amazing pediatric ophthalmology fellow. Her name is Kate Anjard, maybe Catherine would be her professional name. Palos was her maiden name. And we were walking to a pre-med meeting at KU. She asked me a similar question. I saw she was dressed up, and I was also dressed up going to a meeting at KU. Not a lot of people are dressed up. So I was like, "Hey, are you going to this meeting?" She said, "Yep." We start talking. She said, like, "Where are you going to medical school? What field do you want to get into?" And she asked me the same question. I said, "Ophthalmology." She said, "Why is that?" She and I said, "I had an ophthalmologist when I had my retinal detachment when I was 5 years old." So I had a retinal detachment.
This I
And
remember because you were in kindergarten. You graduated in 2015. I graduated from HBHA in 2008. So that's 7 years before you. I would have probably been in like maybe sixth grade and you were in kindergarten. But I recall this happening. Continue.
so so yeah, you maybe saw me running around with my eye patch on,
Very cool.
and so I had that surgery, well, actually my HBHA speech was kind of about when I was out, how my class would call me and they would say shalom shalom. They used to sing like the shalom shalom shalom.
Uh-huh.
Sorry about my vocals. I wasn't an excellent HBHA music student,
Oh, that's
uh,
okay.
although I did always sit at the front of the class so that they could monitor my behavior.
There you go.
Uh, so, so I was talking with Kate, and I said I had an amazing ophthalmologist who took amazing care of me. Actually, two, Dr. Scott Olitsky and Dr. Abraham Palos. And she said, "That's my dad. Dr. Palos is my dad." Now we were co-residents last year. Now she's a fellow, so she's graduated from the residency. Dr. Palos is one of my bosses. He's one of the attending physicians at where I'm doing my residency, UMKC. So I think I was just inspired by great people who took care of me when I had an eye issue. And then also as a medical student, I really gravitated to the field. I shadowed Fred Bodker, another awesome ophthalmologist in town. While I was at KU, he let me come and watch him do some surgeries one day. Um, and just a lot of great people inspired me. I was drawn to the field that you can really impact someone, whether it's a cactus thorn in someone's eyelid, which happens more in Israel than Kansas, probably.
Like just
Um,
so painful. I can't even fathom how painful that description sounded.
Then you take it out and they just instantaneously feel so much better. Or you're able to help someone see better, or a soldier during the war that I had who lost one of his eyes due to an injury. Um, and then you're there to just to help them and take care of the other eye and make sure that they're not having pain at that point.
So
And
it sounds like you are mostly dealing with significant eye injuries, not just like regular eye maintenance. Or is it both?
yeah, it's definitely both. These are just the stories that kind
Yeah,
of
these
jump
are
out
these are the
once
good
you.
ones. No one cared. Someone came in, they needed their eyes checked. I did it.
Right, like my sister gets a little bump on her eyelid and I get her a cream that helps that go away, then that's good too. We get a lot of the dry eye or just normal eye problems, cataract,
Sure.
uh, and those are things that we see probably most frequently, but
But do
diabetic
you
retinopathy.
perform eye surgeries?
Yeah,
Okay. That
yeah.
sounds intense. That sounds good.
So we're getting more to that. I'm in my third year of residency. First year is an intern year, so you do a lot of internal medicine, about 13 weeks of ophthalmology. Then the second year is mostly clinical. You kind of ease into the surgical aspects, kind of some laser procedures. And then the third year, we're starting to jump in a little bit more to surgery, cataract, and more extensive laser procedures. Um, Plastic surgeries of the eyelids or removing tumors or things like that. And then the fourth year is very, very surgery heavy, where we do most of our cataract surgeries and cornea surgeries and all kinds of stuff. So it's kind of an exciting part of the training now.
It's awesome how something that from when you were very young, right? This was it an injury that happened when you were 5, or was it like an accident that occurred, or was it just something that just naturally occurred? But I was going to say you can get to that in a second. I was going to say you took something that happened that was very significant when you were 5, and that kind of impacted your trajectory. I'll also comment on an interesting thing, Joel, is I mean this in a good way, you have definitely mentioned more names than anyone else who I've talked to on the podcast. Just names people you've met, which is again, it's a reflection of who you are. You remember the people who you come across, and someone who might have you come across when you were 5. Most people aren't going to remember the doctor who, even if it was them treating them for a very significant injury, who took care of them when they were 5, and then nearly 20 years later, you meet his daughter, you remember him, it leads you to a connection that kind of spurs you onto your career. It's just you're very clearly very invested in the people you meet and the relationships you make, even if it's just someone you meet once, right? But it's just a very cool thing that shows how you've kind of made and maintained these friendships with people of all different ages, of all different backgrounds across the whole globe. I thought it was very cool. But anyway, if you want to, you don't have to, but if you wanted to elaborate on, I was asking about what happened when you were 5 with the retinal detachment.
Yeah, so we don't know definitively whether it was a trauma. I'm the youngest of four kids. My
Sure.
siblings used to whoop up on me. Now they're amazing. Love them all.
Oh, we love
Corey,
the Gutovitz
Corey,
family.
Jimmy, more names. And also shout out to Micah Margolies, my play director.
Oh, we'll
Um,
get there, Joel. We're going back to HBHA time here in just a moment.
We'll
Don't you worry.
we'll get there. We'll get there. Okay, okay, okay. But yeah, I think it's an important thing, and there's actually in Pirkei Avot, there's a saying where you should when you're quoting someone, it's a good thing to actually quote that person to say who inspired you, to
Yeah.
give credit to someone. I think complimenting liberally is a good thing to do. If someone's touched you or inspired you, or whenever my wife does something amazing, which is pretty much every moment of her life, or our baby Ziv Shalom, whenever they do something amazing, I try to nail it in that I appreciate it and that something amazing was done, and giving positive reinforcement and encouragement is a beautiful thing. So I remember all these people and all of the blessings and things that they've given me, and I'm grateful for it all.
And you just mentioned your son, Ziv Shalom, who that is your first child, correct? And he is what, maybe 5 months old now, 6 months old, somewhere in that range. How is new fatherhood going?
It's the best. Oh my gosh.
Oh wow.
It does make you want to just drop everything else. I want to retire and just spend every moment with my family. But I
It's
also love what I'm doing and enjoy it very much. So that's good. But the
well,
work-life balance becomes more real when you're not just trying to get home to.
and the sleep wake balance becomes very real. Very, very big thing. I was fortunate enough to be at the bris of your son, which led to honestly one of the most remarkable things I've ever seen, if I may, which was at the bris. For people who don't know, the Moel at a bris um, asks the father if they can do the bris on behalf of the father, because the mitzvah is for the father to perform the bris. I actually did not know that until I had my first son, and the Mo asked me that, and I was like, yes, I give you the fullest of permission. I have zero. I didn't know that there was even the slightest expectation of me performing this ritual. Um, and it's just kind of a courtesy. But much to my absolute shock at the bris of your son, you performed it, and I couldn't give more kudos to you for taking on that task. Just absolutely remarkable. Was that something that you knew that you were wanting to do when you had your son?
Yeah, I've been wanting to do it for a long time.
I couldn't believe it. I've never been more impressed with anyone in my entire life.
Disclaimer, I'm very close with Rabbi Schneur Perman.
Yes, yes,
It was the local Moel.
yes.
He definitely guided me and helped me with everything along the way with very, very close supervision. And I went and saw a couple brisses that he did previously to try to kind of get the idea, and he definitely guided me through it. So I wasn't just winging it.
I
Um,
didn't think you would have been. And you have your medical training, but still, absolutely incredible. And I must say, the as someone who was there, what you spoke about and about your talking about your connection to your family and your son's name was really beautiful. Just a great event that people who were there definitely know. It was a great event that took place at HBHA. It's
That's
wonderful.
right, Rams. And thank you very much for being there. It was
Oh yeah. Well, let us segue from the rarely that's not the main segue I usually get to go back to HBHA, but it took place at HBHA, so we can travel back now. We've explored so many things here, and but you spent a lot of time in HBHA, 13 years if I'm not mistaken. And as you said, you've got three siblings who I know well as well: Corey, Jeremy, and Hillary, all HBHA graduates as well. So there's a lot of HBHA memories, and there's a lot of places we could start. I think we got to go back to the well, though, of at least starting point of basketball. Basketball is and sports were a big thing for you. The Gutovitz clan in general, really a dare I say an HBHA sports dynasty. Is that overstating things? But perhaps not.
We didn't have the championships. I mean, we had the conference and we came in second and then we came in third, and we never had the championship to make it a
Well,
dynasty.
you and your brothers are all spaced like about 3 years apart. Did you ever play on a team? Obviously, Corey, your oldest brother, graduated before you were in high school.
Right.
Did you and Jeremy ever play on a basketball team together, like
Oh
on
yeah.
varsity together? Was he a senior when you were a freshman?
Yeah, so I was playing with him like a little bit seventh grade, more
Ah,
eighth grade, and then freshman year, a lot.
okay.
Um, so yeah, definitely so fun playing with Jeremy, and we've played together a lot, also outside, at these Hillel basketball tournaments. We went to that together twice. So that was a lot of fun, and obviously on the driveway, we play a lot together. And then Jeremy has a little basketball court in his backyard, so still we get the family together.
I don't
We'll
I don't know. I got to ask Sam Matzel, our illustrious HBHA athletic director and alum, and also certainly a former teammate of yours for many, many games.
a current teammate. Sam and I
A current teammate as well.
play together in the Sunday JCC League, together with Tavis and Nathan Mann, who also
Oh, that sounds like a pretty strong squad. That sounds like a pretty strong squad. The ballers keep balling. Hopefully, you're no longer the hopplers, although you might be hoppling more these days than you were.
I definitely am, but the others are staying solid.
I was gonna say I gotta ask Sam if he has like a record of like the actual like point scored leaders in HBHA history.
We
Because
have that. We have
okay,
that printed out somewhere.
I don't know if I have that on it. I gotta get it on hand. I don't know where you would rank, especially amongst your two other brothers. But I feel like all three of you have got to be top 10, maybe, at least top 15, if maybe not top 10.
So we're actually 1, 2, and 3.
Okay, there it is. See, for people who don't know the Gutovitzes, and I said dynasty family, there's the proof right there. 1, 2, and 3. You had the answer going. Is Corey number 1?
Corey's number 1, Jeremy's number 2, I'm number 3. We all have our excuses of how we could have been number 1.
Okay, now this is great because I actually have a role in. I'll get to my role with Corey here in a second, but go ahead, Joel. What's your excuse?
My excuse, so I broke my hand and had
Sure.
some bad ankle sprains that had me
And
missing.
don't forget about the lingering discomfort from the detached retina from 10 years earlier. That was playing a role your sophomore year, I'm sure.
No, I was okay from that
Yeah.
one. Fortunately, Dr. Palos and Dr. Olinsky took good care of me.
Okay, so a
But
broken hand.
Corey actually is an amazing brother because I can't imagine this situation. His team could have probably won the Sarachek tournament. I'm not sure if you were there that year,
So
but Jeremy,
Corey graduated 1 year after me, 2009. I played many basketball games with Corey. I was on the same team. He was a far superior player, so got much more playing time. I did go to a Sarachek tournament, um, I believe with him. Yeah, certainly. But continue, yeah.
so I think you were definitely together then because
Yeah.
he was in his younger, I think maybe sophomore or junior year, and Jeremy's bar mitzvah was during the tournament. So Corey couldn't go. I think you guys finished like fourth that year. And
I know this tournament well. I know this tournament well. I remember this vividly. And people in my year, around my year, can fact check me and they'll agree. We were a 12 seed going in. For people who don't know, Sarachek, it's the Jewish national basketball tournament in New York. Really big deal. And there's really good teams there. I've talked about it on many other podcast episodes because it's a big thing. And we tend to be one of the smallest, if not the smallest schools there, right? There's some huge schools from Chicago, LA, Dallas. We were 12 seed going in, which was not bad. I think there were probably like 20 teams in the tournament. We were playing a 5 seed, Valley Torah. And they had a really good player named Dovey Hoffman, I remember. And we had a great player on our team. Shout out graduate of 2007, Josh King, who locked him down, held him to like 2 points the whole game. Just a defensive beast for anyone who's ever played against Josh King. Great offensive player, too. And we won. We won that game. It was a huge upset, the biggest upset of the tournament that year. And then I don't know where we finished, but I remember that Corey was not there. And yet we pulled this upset, even though your brother, as we've mentioned, was, our best player and really, driving the bus. But continue. So he missed because of Jeremy's bar mitzvah.
right. Yeah, so he has enough excuses. Corey's probably locked in at 1.
Sure.
I missed some games and I wasn't too far behind Jeremy, but I'm happy it worked out where it goes in age order and respect to my older brothers. They taught me everything I know, and
Hillary, I'm sure, has done her justice on the women's scoring list.
Hillary wasn't such a hot scorer, but she's amazing at a lot of other things. My sister's
right.
awesome. For everyone who knows her, she's just a great person.
I was going to say, I sadly am a small part of Corey's excuse of could have scored more points. Corey sustained, I don't know if you know this, Joel. Corey sustained an injury where I think he might have broken his growth plate on his foot, or at least seriously injured his foot and missed a good part of the season. He got that injury because he stepped on my foot during a practice.
Oh man.
Yep. And that led to probably some games missed. So my bad, Corey. But nothing could slow him down. So here's the question, and then we can pivot away from basketball. I'm sure you guys have discussed this many times, and I'm sure your brothers, when they listen, will do it. The three of you guys in your primes, whenever your respective prime is, there's a one-on-one basketball tournament. I'm sure there were many one-on-one basketball tournaments. Who's emerging victorious from that round robin, and why is it you?
I don't think any of us. He's definitely the biggest.
He's the
We
biggest.
would all have a hard time stopping each other. Corey could score on me every time down low if he wanted to. I never would have stopped him. He's too big for me to stop back then and now.
You're,
Jeremy is just quick and
tell me if you agree with this Margolies scouting report as someone who has played many basketball games with all the Gutovitzes. And apologies if I rank anyone poorly in any of these categories. But if I were giving like the zoom out scouting report, I think you all have your thing where you'd be the superlative, like the best Gutovitz in this category. I would say in our primes, I would say Corey, best shooter. Honestly, one of the best shooters I've ever seen. Just knocking down shots left and right, incredible. Jeremy, best ball handler. I don't know where he got these ball handlings. They're insane. And you, the quickest. I know you said Jeremy's quick. You're one of the fastest guys I've ever seen. Maybe not now. Maybe not as you're chugging towards residency, your time. But that's my zoom out scouting report. All graded all three of those phases. But I think you've each got a skill where it's like, I can kind of dominate the game with this particular skill. That's my Gutovitz scouting.
I think that's fair.
I think it's fair. You know what? I look forward. When this airs, I'm going to call Corey and Jeremy up. I'm going to say there was a lot of Gutovitz basketball talk, but it's warranted. Top three scores. I mean, that's incredible. Honestly, that's a super cool thing. I'm going to try to find the actual point number. It sounds like you might just have it saved on a Google Doc.
Bob Henneke sent it to me a while ago. He used to keep track.
You just got it. I'm going to get a list of this. I want that handy just for reference when I'm talking to other people about basketball.
Yeah,
but you were not only.
But
you weren't only basketball. You did many other things at HBHA. When you think about your time at HBHA, what are some of the now over a decade removed from your graduation? Are there any particular memories or moments or classes or teachers that jump out at you? I realize it's a lot to try to distill, but putting the basketball side aside, what are some other really significant things to your time there?
High school play, of course.
High school play. Talk about it. Sure, yeah. High school. How many years did you do the high school play?
I don't want to forget this other story. You said moments.
We'll come back to the play.
Go back to the play. I know you won't forget that one, and I won't either. But the main thing that pops out to me, kind of like the Achdut of Israel, is the friendship of HBHA and the family of HBHA. One of my classmates and the four guys in my class, I'm still super close with. David Robino's coming for Shabbat this week. Ezra is like my brother from another mother. When I was in Israel, we like lived together for periods, and we just like love Ezra. Recently got married. Mazel tov. David Liebschitz also getting married soon. Very, very close friend. We talked on the phone for probably about an hour 2 or 3 weeks ago. So the guys in my class, some of my lifelong best friends, and then the rest of my classmates, also people that when we touch base once every, when there's a wedding or whenever there's a reason to get together, such a treat to get back together with the old crew. You got Spencer Kasif, and just the rest of them. Now I feel like I have to name everyone. We got Sophia Porter, Mariah.
Every single person in the class. You are welcome to, but they know, and it's amazing and awesome that you those friendships have continued and strengthened and stayed so strong 11 years later, right? Is awesome. You had a great class. You were a junior when I first came back to teaching, so I got to teach your guys' class for 2 years, at least some of the kids in the class in various capacities during those 2 years before you graduated, which was great.
Yeah. So the story that stuck out was one of us was like going to be held from, for whatever reason, if it was tardies, something like that. One of us was going to be held out of like that senior experience where like you get a younger classman reads like a nice letter to you.
Oh, the senior send off for people. Let me just briefly explain for people not as in the know, right? A huge HBHA tradition is it's one of the best days of the year. On a Friday, it's always on a Friday. There's a dual event, which is great. The first part is the freshmen. Usually it's freshmen, although sometimes it'll be like an eighth grader or a 10th grader if they have a sibling. But typically a freshman is paired with a senior, and they talk to the senior throughout the year and get to know them. And then they read this really beautiful farewell letter to them. And all the seniors' parents and family come, and the whole high school and middle school comes and listens to it. And it's really a great event. And then after that, the entire school lines up in the main lower school hallway. And for the past many years, it's been myself and Miss Renee who switch off reading like a little like 3 to 4 sentence kind of inside joke filled send off to the senior and talking about whether they're off to school and what they're going to be studying. And they run down and high five the entire school. So it's a great HBHA tradition, super awesome. So Joel was saying when you were a senior, someone was going to be held out of that because they were not behaving up to par.
Right. Great. First of all, great description of the day, and
I
so
like
cool.
people to know, we might have a listener in Tokyo who's just, they want to hear your story. Maybe they encountered you. They had a great ophthalmology encounter with you. They want to listen to your podcast, but they don't know all the ins and outs of the HBHA traditions. I want them to feel included as a part of this experience.
That's awesome. What's your most listened to episode? How many listens?
You know what? I don't know. I don't know, but I hope it'll be this one. I hope it'll be this one. You know a lot of people, so it might be. It might be. Anyway, continue. So someone was on the outs.
So we all boycotted. We all said if he doesn't go, none of us are going. Then they allowed him to go, and those are just moments where like everyone has each other's back at HBHA. There's the high school parties where everyone's just looking out for each other, making sure no one does anything stupid or irresponsible or dangerous. And just day to day, you're with people who you love and care about. And it's such a special thing about HBHA. So,
and this boycott worked, and this person was
yeah,
reinstated, and then everyone got sent off with a plum.
exactly.
Incredible.
Exactly.
I like how you have the chivalry to not name who it was, but you've already established that the number of guys in your class you can count on one hand. So, and it's probably not you. Although maybe it is you. Who knows? You're like some random guy. It could have been anyone. It could have been any one of us.
Yeah, it was anyone. Anyone.
That's incredible.
That's one that stands out. There's lots, man.
There's a lot. Well, you'd mentioned. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, goofing around in class, like we'd have too much fun sometimes. Mr. Bannon, who's a legend, is he Dr. Bannon now?
Oh, he's Dr. Bannon now.
Dr. Bannon. It was like one of the most hilarious and awesome teachers that I had there. English teachers in general at HBHA are just cream of the crop, I would say.
Love an HBHA English teacher.
Yeah, what's that?
I said we love an HBHA English teacher.
For sure, for sure. So sometimes we had too much fun and we'd like have to sit out in the hall because we goofed around too much. But none of it was ever malicious. I don't think any of us ever got kicked out of class because we're trying to be mean or bad kids. It's just because we loved each other too much and had too much fun and things were hilarious. And that's, as a dad now, you just want your kid to be a couple things, Two of the big ones are happy and kind. And I think that at HBHA,
is your 5-month-old kind? Is he a kind little man?
He really is.
I'm sure he is.
A big part of kindness is doing something. What's the definition of kind, English teacher? You can help me out with this one.
Wow. What an either profound question or very simple question. Depending on I would say someone who is interested in the well-being of others and doing actions to increase the well-being and happiness of others.
So he does more of the second than the first. I'm not sure how interested he is in things yet, other than like anything he could put in his mouth to like soothe his teeth or whatever that are coming in.
He's showing self-kindness there, self-care.
That's self-kindness, but his kindness towards others, he's a big smiler. And I think he, like when we have Shabbat guests and we do like our little Kabbalat Shabbat, that's a warning. Anyone who comes for Shabbat in the future, and we love having people. So message me if you're interested.
Wow.
Mike, I'd love to have you. But
I'm there.
Okay.
Done.
All right.
Okay, we'll make it happen.
100%. So we do a Kabbalat Shabbat, which could be either 30 minutes, or if David Robino was there, like this week, it could be an hour, just because we love to jam together and sing all of the Kabbalat Shabbat tunes. And so we do that before dinner. So if we're calling 7:30 and you just want to come for dinner, come at 8:30.
30.
Although the Kabbalat Shabbat is wonderful.
That's a big part of it.
What's that?
That's a big part of it. I'm sure you can pop an appetizer during Kabbalat Shabbat.
You
Sneak
could
over.
do. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Get a little
Get those small plates going.
yeah,
Just to
you
keep
could think about that.
going.
Keep
Yeah.
the people engaged.
Okay. Well, you also mentioned the play, which I think can't go on mentioned. How many years did you do the play? I know at least two. Was it just those two, or did you do it freshman or sophomore year as well?
I did all four
All
years.
four.
Wait, just to finish that thought, that
Oh
Zeev
yeah.
loves it. Everybody makes
You're
everybody
saying like a beautiful thing about kindness. I'm like, let's talk about you on stage. Yeah.
So yeah, Zeev just makes people smile. So I think that's part of his kindness for now, and I just hope that'll continue to blossom. And I've seen some of your videos of your kids, and they seem to have the kindness and the
Pretty
joy as
jolly
well.
guys. They're pretty jolly little men.
They do chess. Is chess one of the things that I've seen?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Jonah, my oldest, is a big chess player. He's a
That's
big little chess player, man. Okay. Did the kindness story conclude?
That concluded. We can jump
Okay.
to
This concludes our segment on kindness.
I was in the play all 4 years, of course. I never would have missed it.
Do you remember? So, like I said, I returned to teach at HBHA during your junior and senior year, which we can talk about those two in a second. My first year there, when you were a junior, I was the assistant director. Dr. Bannon was the director, and he was also, I presume, your director for your freshman and sophomore years. I was the assistant director because I knew that he was going to leave to pursue his PhD and go from Mr. to Dr. Bannon. And so I took over senior year. So we'll talk about those two here in a second. Do you remember what you guys did freshman and sophomore year? Sometimes it can be tough to dig back into the memory bank for the play titles.
Arsenic and Old Lace was with you.
Yes. Well, yeah, absolutely. Arsenic and Old Lace was me.
That was a hilarious one. That was with Ariel Brudele, Rabbi Broody.
Yes.
Who is it? I'm sure he's been on this.
You know what? Not yet, but it's in the cards. It's in the plans.
Good.
So,
Good.
And depending on when I air these, it's possible that it already will have happened when people hear this. But that's happening for this season. Absolutely.
One of the probably funniest moment on stage is just when he did a totally unscripted grab of my shirt. Like we're in a threatening conversation, and he just like grabs me, and it took a lot not to like lose it in that moment. But my director taught me all of my play skills, so I was able to.
Yeah. So senior year, was the first year I directed the play. We did Arsenic and Old Lace, which is a great classic old play. I was figuring out how to direct on the fly because I had never done it before. And Joel was one of our leads, Mortimer Brewster, who is just a regular old schmo with two kindly old aunts, played by Gabby Sunshine and Eliana Seidel. And he slowly discovers that his aunts have been poisoning these old men these lonely men at this bed and breakfast they run. And Ariel,
out of kindness, right?
Because they thought they were doing them like a service, a kindness.
Come out of their misery. Isn't that one of the lines?
And Ariel played your scheming brother, Jonathan Brewster. And there's a lot of dead bodies going in and out. Alec Bratt played a deranged man who thinks he is Teddy Roosevelt. It was honestly, I've directed now 13 plays or 12 plays. That's easily one of my favorites. Right at the top of the list. So fun, so funny. We really nailed it that first year. It was so good. And you were great. You were great in it. It was such a blast doing it with you.
Thank you. You were awesome.
That was great. And do you remember, I was saying, do you remember what you did 9th and 10th grade when you're digging back? It can be hard. They can all jumble together. Junior year, my first year there, I know we did a couple of Agatha Christie murder mysteries, and then an HBHA original movie, The Case of the Missing Menches, about menches who are murdered. And you were the first one to bite the dust in that video, if you recall. It's pretty great. Yeah, they all blend together.
Oh, it's all a blur. We had one where I was like, I'm not gonna remember.
Yeah, it's okay. You know, you're on stage, you get through it, and you power through it. But it was great for me that I got to direct you in that first one that I did your senior year as a culmination of your time there. All right, I want to get you out of here soon because we've talked for quite a while, and it's going late into the night. But Well, oh, one thing before I shift to the final part of our episode, we've talked a lot about kind of your high school experiences, but like we said, you were there K through 12. Any lower school memories or teachers or experiences that stick with you, about 30 years later now that you're like, man, that was a good thing. I really enjoyed, or that was a wild time when we did that.
Say Dr. Maggart or Kayenka, Miss
Oh,
Kayenka back
yes,
in my
yes.
day.
Dr. Kanka, yeah.
Um, I actually went to her wedding, and there's a legendary photo of me high-fiving her
Oh, wow.
uh, as she walks down the aisle after her wedding. Um, so I would say that was a special moment. How your family, also with your friends and also with your teachers.
Uh-huh.
She also came to my wedding celebration locally. She did not fly to Israel to come to my real wedding.
Did she give you the high five? Did you guys recreate the photo?
I'm currently a Shomer Nagia fellow, so we
Okay,
weren't able to
got
to
but it was a spiritual high five.
Yeah, I would say so. I would say she left a very positive impression on my fourth grade experience. I Mrs. Franks, of course.
Legend.
I know that you had like a honoring Mr. Clower segment.
Hmm.
So just big shout out to him and all of the kindness, and something I said I think at one of his Shiva nights was just that he was one of those teachers that you knew really, really cared about you.
Hmm.
And I mentioned how a lot of people will ask how you're doing just to ask and just to then hear themselves talk after. But I think he was very interested in others, like back to kindness again, taking an interest in the wants and needs of others. He did a lot of that. So also very positive. That's back to high school though. Others in elementary school.
It's okay. I mean, listen, we you started with a great highlight of the high five of Dr. Kank at her wedding, and I mean, it's tough to top that, especially with the reciprocal her coming to your wedding. That's just an awesome story, and it really speaks to what the school is about. Right? I mean, just like having those incredible, the most meaningful moments of your life and sharing it with the people at the school in really profound and important ways is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're like, yeah, what you said. All right, I always like to wrap up every episode with some rapid fire questions, which you can answer in as much detail or as little detail as you want, just based off of the things that I've heard. So here we go. First question I got for you. Clearly, Shabbat dinners is a big thing for you. Give me your ideal Shabbat dinner menu. It could be one that if you're preparing it, this is what you like to prepare, or if you're a guest and they're like, this is what we're having, you're like, yes, you can do it as basic as you want, or you can go in as much detail as you want. But your dream Shabbat dinner meal, go.
Yeah. So my mom, amazing chef. My wife, the best chef in the world. Her
Falafel temach, falafel noam. You already
falafel,
said. I'm listening. It's all in here.
noam, falafel noam.
Yeah.
But those two, my mother-in-law, amazing chef, and she was just in for like 3 months because of the war. They were going to be here for like 1 month. They
Uh-huh.
ended up being here for 3 months. My in-laws, which was awesome, and she's an incredible chef. So, to your question,
Are you
go
going to
ahead.
design like a celebrity cook-off amongst all these women?
It's teamwork, man. No cook-off.
Okay. So they're all in the kitchen, and what are they cooking up here?
First, you're gonna have to come and see when you come for Shabbat. But
Okay,
basically, we do multiple courses. Sometimes a soup, especially in the winter. We'll have either a soup or a cholent. Sometimes it's not always there. But first course, of course, we do Kabbalat Shabbat. Currently, no food during that course. Next
roasty.
course is we do like all the Shalom Aleichem, and then we do Kiddush. So you get your wine. We pre-game the dinner a little bit with a sip of red. Usually we have a Moscato. That could be Bartonura, it could be Sarah B. Then I do the red, the Givon, Trader Joe's, nice little kosher red from Israel. Then we do the hand washing and hit some challah. Our challahs itself is like a four-course challah because we got the sesame challah, we have the everything but the bagel challah, we have the garlic challah, which is like garlic bread. We have a cinnamon challah, which is crazy. On occasion, they do a chocolate chip challah.
Are you
Not
saying
my
you're making
favorite.
all of these each Shabbat, or is this like
Each Shabbat, there's three or four. There's like a vanilla sugar challah. Each Shabbat, we'll have on the table three or four different challah options.
wow, that's okay. Wow. You should have a
Yeah,
challah. You should host like a challah bake-off. That would be nice.
we could do it.
All
We could
right,
do it.
so all right, we've got our challah. Most
We
of the
got a
things you've
challah.
said so far have not been food, but I know the food's coming.
The food's coming. After the challah, with the challah, we have our salatim course. So a bunch of, in Israel, they call it salads, but it's not exclusively salad. We have
Sure.
like a potato salad called the livie in Russian. It's like potato, pickles, all that good stuff. We got a salad with like lettuce and tomato, stuff like that. We got like an olive dip. We got like a matbucha sometimes, which is kind of like a tomato type salsa. We have a bunch of chatzil dips, which is eggplant. And we do like a red one. We do a bunch of different ones like that. There's egg salad sometimes. Then we'd pull out the soup. That could be matzo ball soup, chicken noodle soup. It could be selek, kube selek, which is like meat, beef balls with beets. That's another soup we like to do. So then you got that next course. Well, actually, with the salads, since you don't, we don't eat like meat and fish at the same time.
Okay.
It's an interesting halachic thing because they used to be scared you couldn't differentiate between the fish and the meat, so you didn't know when you were going to accidentally, God forbid, poke yourself in the throat with a fish bone, thinking that it was just a piece of steak.
I hate it.
Uh,
I hate when I poke myself in the throat with a fish bone.
it's really uncomfortable, and
That's when
sometimes
you
I'm
go to the ear, nose, and throat doctor. Not you.
exactly
Not your specialty.
not me,
Not
not
you.
me.
Different guy. Get the guy
Yeah.
down the road.
Right. You know. So then we got that. After that, we do like there's some sort of salmon together with the salads. So that'll be like either a teriyaki, a honey mustard. It could be a pistachio salmon, which we're having this week. Looking forward to that one. Really good. Pesto salmon is another option. Then we got the main course. There will be some sort of like
This
chicken
isn't
or
the main course.
no, no. We'll do like a chicken or a beef. It could be schnitzel. It could be grilled chicken. It could be like a chicken stir fry. It could be like beef with like onion and red and like wine sauce. This week I think we're doing a egg stuffed eggplant beef
Okay.
thing, which we've never done before. So if you're coming, get excited.
I'm
Um,
astonished by what I'm hearing right now. Continue.
Then we'll have like a fruit salad and like either cookies or some sort of cake or um, something like that. Sometimes like a pasta or rice together with the meat dish course. And then we always have tea and coffee for anybody who's interested. And then we always like to say we don't hold anyone hostage, but we also don't want anyone to feel like we don't hold anyone hostage would mean that you can go at any time, but we're also not kicking you out. So we love if someone wants to stay, hang out, play a board game. We could hang out Friday evening until the wee hours of the evening. Um, or people can leave on the earlier end. Just kind of depends. Winter, summer, also
By the
summer's good.
time the food's done, it's got to be like Saturday afternoon.
This last Shabbat, people left. I think it was maybe either after 11 a little bit. I think.
It's not
Uh,
I mean, wow. I'm glad I asked this question because you were ready with an answer. I mean, I thought you were going to be like chicken,
and
but
it's a lot of schmoozing also. The food's great, but I love, having everyone over and just connecting, hearing how life is. And everyone has to bring a Dvar Torah. Someone asks, what can I bring? Bring either like an uplifting story from your week or something on the Parsha or just something uplifting to share with everyone. I like to have someone prepare something.
that was the tastiest response I've ever heard. All right. That, that, that was that was an incredible answer. That was astonishing, honestly.
Just
I
that
couldn't.
rapid fire. I didn't
It was it's okay. You took your time. You went with the flow with it. All right, a couple more quick ones or not quick ones for you before we get you out of here. We've talked a lot about basketball, obviously. And you've shared a lot of memories. Maybe it's one that you've already said. Um, but favorite basketball memory on the favorite game that you've been a part of. It could be HBHA. It could be the Allen Field. It could be maybe something that we haven't heard so far, but just a basketball memory that really jumps out at you.
Yeah. I would say I'll give you, let's see, three quick ones. First one's HBHA. We're down by like 20 something to Midland. It's an away game.
Or
We get a,
rival.
yeah, I would
An
say,
away game. So this is at the Midland cafeteria basketball court hybrid.
yep,
Yeah,
yep.
I know it
This is
well.
happening in the Midland cafeteria. We're down by a bunch. There's a really good, their best player was pretty solid back in the day. They had a guy named Tanner Finnegan, who's a pretty good baller, lefty, good shooter, taller than me for sure. He was a good player.
Okay, so you're playing Midland. They've got this great lefty shooter. Okay, you're down by 20 points.
We ended up coming back. It was an amazing comeback, and it's one of those just fun moments and memories with the guys. We won our middle school championship, which was also a really fun one. I remember the game started. Jacob Margolies, you happen to know him, gets a
That's the
steal to
time.
open the game. We're playing at St. Paul. Gets the steal, makes the layup. We ended up winning that, I think, by quite a bit when we won that championship, my seventh grade year. Um, those are a couple of HBHA ones. Israel basketball moments. I played in the Jerusalem like synagogue league. We won that championship. It was crazy. I made two threes in a row. I'm dribbling down the court for a fast break. And something my friends in college would encourage me to do is stop and shoot the three, get more points. Why not? Even if you could go and hit a layup, because I tend to smoke quite a bit of layups, miss them a little bit. So I pulled up for the three, missed it, and we're up by like 6 or 7 at this point. And some guy comes up to me. The game ends up going to overtime, and he says, "If you guys lose, it's your fault for missing that pull up three in transition. You should have just gone for the layup, but you got two showboaty." And I was just like, "That's just what I
You're like,
try to
I'm not.
do.
I'm just better at shooting threes.
I would have missed the layup, man." And we ended up winning. And I got MVP of the Jerusalem Synagogue League, so that was fun. And then Haifa, we had like a little league on the beach in our neighborhood. Um, and that was just a lot of fun playing with the sunset over the beach just next to us. Spent a lot of time on that court. So some HBHA comebacks, playing in Jerusalem, playing in Haifa. Lots of good basketball memories. And now currently playing at the J on Sundays with Sam Tavis. We were playing with Golan. He had an injury, but hope to have him back. Nathan and then Jake Novikov. So lots
Squad.
of good basketball memories.
What a squad. Um.
Oh,
All right.
one
Oh
more
yeah.
basketball. I'm looking forward to the alumni game. My understanding is that 10 years is the cutoff. We do like older alumni and younger alumni.
Oh, so you're an older alum now. Uh huh.
This will be my first time with the
Yeah,
older.
and I play most years, obviously an older alum, of course. Last year I was kind of sick. I was at the game, but I was like just getting over a cold, so and I was like coughing a lot, so I didn't play. And I don't want to overstate my significance to the team, but the younger alumni kind of crushed them. You might have been on the team,
Oh yeah.
and I think the older alumni could have used some of my veteran savvy. I mean, you're talking to a guy who took out Corey Gutovitz, HBHA's leading scorer. You don't think I could have sent a couple of guys onto the injured list? I probably could have knocked your leg out if I needed
Oh,
to.
man. No, 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 no. Micah, we'll be playing together this year, and that's
I'm
not our
ready.
strategy, man.
I'll start my training regimen a few months early, which is
Good
now.
clean. Let's get a good clean win. Let's let the younger guys know who's experienced and who's running the show out there, but we're not gonna hurt anyone.
We're not going to hurt anyone. We're not going to hurt anyone. All right. Very last thing for you. I think would be an appropriate thing for us to end on. You've talked a lot about Jewish wisdom, Jewish teachings, how you want to bring it to Dvar Torah. Just one small, you can keep it small if you want, just a very small, maybe Jewish message or verse or teach. It can be an incredibly small thing. Maybe you'd want to leave listeners with. You're just like, this always sticks with me. It doesn't have to connect to this week's parsha. It can be anything you want. It can just be something that you're like, I want people to leave with this message. I think this is the
Yeah.
thing that matters to me.
So Moda Ani is the prayer that we say in the morning. It should be the first words out of your mouth in the morning. And it's a prayer that says, I'm so grateful to God that He gave me another day. And that God believes in me today to do something. He brought me back to life, gave me my soul back this morning to go and have an amazing day. So one is start every day with gratitude, Modani. And just when you have an attitude of gratitude and you're looking at the good things in life, you
There's the
can
rapper. There's Joel the rapper. An attitude of gratitude.
yeah, you can look at life, whatever you're going through, it can either be a big blessing or a big balagan, and you can look at everything that's crazy. So one is just encourage people to always look at the blessing, start every day, not with what's going on in the terrible news or what's going on my cell phone with somebody else's life, but look at the blessings in your own life. Start your day like that, and just go into your day with gratitude. And then a quick story that kind of hones that brings that message home is a guy's wandering, and I'll give you the brief version. Wandering between towns to go and do some business. He brought with him his rooster, his donkey, and a candle. You may know the story. It's a common one about looking at the bright side of things. So he hears in the middle of the night his rooster cockle-doodle, and he can tell, oh, my rooster was just taken by a fox or something. Goes back to sleep, hears, and that's his donkey having a tough time. Gets eaten by a lion, let's say. Then a little bit later, he's cold. Thank God he has his candle to keep him warm. Feels a big gust of wind. Candle goes out. Wakes up in the morning, gets to the town where he was going to do his business. He was going to try to go there. Oh, and actually, at the beginning of the story, he gets to the town, but there's no one that's willing to take him in. So he goes back to the edge of the forest to sleep there. And he says, "This is for the best. Every single stage, he doesn't get a place to stay. This is for the best. He doesn't have his rooster or his donkey or his candle anymore. This is for the best." He wakes up into the town, goes in to that village. And he sees that the whole town was destroyed. Another army or something had come in and ransacked the village, taken prisoners, and it was left just totally destroyed. And he throughout the process was saying, "Thank God, there has to be good to this." So whatever anyone is going through in life, I would say always realize that God has your back, that the best is coming, and that whatever you're going through now is leading to the best every single day. You could be milestone oriented, looking towards your next achievement or whatever. Once I achieve that, I'll be happy. Once I get married, once I have a baby, you will be happy once you have a baby and once you get married. But you should be happy now also. Whatever you're going through, whatever stage you're at in your life, be here, be present, because one day you're going to be Mav Esrim 120. We don't ever know when that moment's going to come where working in medicine, maybe you become more attuned to it, that life ends at a certain point. And then also seeing war in Israel, life does at some point come to an end. So every day is a huge blessing. Every day you get to talk to Mr. Margolies is a huge blessing. And I want to wish all of your listeners that they'll see the blessings in life and that they'll really have a lot of blessings to look at.
Great message to end on. I knew you'd deliver there.
Great.
I love what you said there about modality. That's something that I think anyone can, regardless of how frequently they pray or how, where they fall kind of on the religious spectrum, just that idea of waking up with an idea of gratitude and feeling motivated to do something with their day is something that everyone can relate to. Joel, this has been awesome. I mean, I'm not surprised that we ran a little bit long because you're a great storyteller and you have so many awesome things that you've done, from your time at HBHA to your time at KU, Israel, ophthalmology school, the basketball court, the stage, and beyond. And like I said earlier, all your stories, you're always looking for ways to uplift the other people in the story, right? You brought up so many people, classmates of yours, teachers, doctors, random people that you met on the street, people you met at the grocery store, people you had over for Shabbat, and all those people are, your interactions with them are what makes you, right? And makes you someone that people are drawn to. So the people that know you who are listening to this, that'll all ring true to them. And the people that don't know you, well, you just invited over every listener to Shabbat dinner. So
Especially the guy in Tokyo.
hopefully, especially the guy listening in Tokyo, hopefully he'll hop on a quick flight and make it there before Kabbalah Shabbat ends. Especially if David's there, then it's running long. So Joel, this has been great. This has been so awesome, and I'll take you up on that Shabbat dinner sometime.
Sounds great.
All right, talk to you
Can't
later.
wait to have you.
Bye bye.
Later, man.